So, Lisa, real quick, did you want me to run through any presentation, or you just want me to share everything? Because since most people maybe have seen the
I
presentation.
feel guided to just share.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and do that. So, well, first off, thank you guys for taking your time to be on here. I know everybody's got stuff to do, and I promise I won't waste your time. Just a real quick background on myself, so it kind of helps and makes this conversation a little more relevant. Is I'm married, been married to the same woman for about 23 years. We've known each other for 25, got 3 kids. I have been in networking. I used to be in the bar business way back when. So rough around the edges. You can kind of picture how that would have gone. And was introduced to the direct selling networking industry in 1994. And I thought I was going to a job interview. I went to a hotel meeting. And I remember the first time I ever heard, I grew up kind of in a hillbilly town, Amish country in Ohio. We have the county that I live in has the largest Amish population in the world, believe it or not. And half my county, is just mostly Amish. And, it's just, if you can picture everybody this, working the small jobs, most people worked in the local factories, things like that. For some reason, deep down, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I ended up, getting out of there. But when I got into the bar business after I was in the bar business. I went to a meeting. I got excited about it, and I didn't even know what I was excited about. And I remember calling my dad and telling my dad about this opportunity I found. And I said, Dad, they got this thing that everybody's talking about. They're so excited about this thing called residential income. And my dad kind of laughed, and I was like, what? He goes, you mean residual? I go, I think they got that too. And I'm like, and he had to explain. I had no idea. I'd never heard anybody or knew anybody that had ever earned residual income of any kind in my life. Okay, everybody I knew was a 9-to-5er and worked their way through. So what was neat was the fact that this networking model had opened up a completely different way of thinking for me. It literally took probably 6 months to a year to actually believe that it was possible to make money outside of a 9-to-5 and at least supplement my income and that kind of thing. So that's literally how I got started. I had no idea what I was doing. I dove right in. It took me a while to get up to speed on everything. But, if you fast forward to from 1994 to today, I've actually been, blessed enough to learn the skills that I've been one of the top recruiters and usually I'm the top recruiter in every company I've been in. I personally enrolled over probably 1,800 people in my career. That's personally enrolled. I built multiple teams and multiple companies into tens of thousands and been a 7-figure earner. Okay. Now I'm not saying that to brag, but the other thing too is I've learned systems as well. Like I'm very big on making it easy for people. That's why I think people gravitate towards what I do, is because they see that they after they watch most of my stuff, they believe that they can do what I'm doing, which is the whole key to this business. Now let's talk about this business. So that's my background. And if you guys, I think Penny might need to mute. Penny and Christopher might need to mute their phones or their thing. There, you're good. Thank you guys. But what I did was, so fast forward. Here I was back in March. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the lesson here. Back in March, my friend Tommy Johnson, who I knew from one of the companies that both of us made over $1 million in. We were not in the same groups or anything together, but we just knew each other. We're similar in age. I'm 51. I think he's 46. And we had enough in common that we talked on at the leadership retreats and so on. So Tommy approached me not too long ago about another opportunity that I think, Lisa, you referred to. I actually was in that and did really well real quick, but I just didn't see the path that I was going to stick with those guys. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And Tommy sent me about 15 texts. Okay, this is how tenacious he was. He sent me 15 texts. The first one he ever sent me was, hey, I just got off the phone with a guy with Holton Bugs. He's launching a company. It's going to be the most amazing thing. You need to take a look at it. And I ignored it. And then he sent me another one a couple days later, and I ignored it. And long story short, I ignored the first 15 texts that he did. The last text that got me to kind of listen to him was, believe it or not, he said, Mike, I'm telling you, this one's different. So being a smart aleck I was probably just, in a weird mood. I replied back, yeah, I heard that before. Okay. So I kind of just got in his face a little bit on it. Then I felt bad. So I called him. I said, okay, Tommy, why are you excited? And after I'd heard the vision of what they were going to launch with this company, and having a marketing background, because I have actually been in internet marketing, internet sales, and actually am contracted to run entire marketing, online marketing platforms for companies. I've done it for insurance companies, mega churches, and so on. One of my clients actually gives me $250,000 a year of their money to spend. So I learn all these things, which is cool. I learn it on their dollar. And this is going to mean something to you here in a second, okay? I'm just trying to build up to where I'm getting to so you can kind of see, so you don't have to do the research that I've done it, okay? So all that being said, when I saw this, I was like, this is going to be probably the biggest thing I've ever been a part of. So all that being said, when I talk to people, and what I'm going to do with you guys, just so we can stay on track, is I talk about 5 things. And I believe that there are 5 core elements that make this an opportunity that people are looking for. Because you would probably agree with me that we could always use more money, right? Okay, everybody shake your heads if you're muted. Everybody could use more money. The other thing that I have noticed that, you know, a lot of people are givers or would like to give, but typically you can't give to the poor if you're one of them, that kind of thing. And somebody said this to me 15 years ago that I never forgot. He said there's a significant difference between making a living and having a life. Hey, William, would you mind muting your phone, or Deneen? Okay, you got it. Ty, thank you. So, you know, somebody's muted. Try William. Okay, we're good. So when I heard that, I just never forgot it. It's just one of those things that stuck in my head. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys right now is, how would your life change if you had an additional $500 to $1,000 a month coming in? Okay, just think of it from those terms, because most people, that's a believable dollar amount. Maybe a few of you on here have some experience, so maybe you're considering, I would love to have, you know, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and that's fully this opportunity can set that up for you. I know for a fact that can be done. Okay. The other thing is we have people literally already in our company. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. This has already been documented and put out there that are making 6 figures monthly. And our company only pre-launched March 11th of this year. And we are officially today 30 days old. So you are seeing this before the masses really see it. Okay. Now let's talk about those 5 things. First and foremost, the number one thing that I always address is, you know, you're going to know where your ship is going, usually based on the captain. Holton Buggs is our CEO and the guy that started our company. If you don't know who Holton is, I'll give you a brief review. But if you Google him, look him up. He is the single most successful networker and earner in the history of our industry, bar none. No, there's not even a close second. And he's a remarkable guy. And the other cool thing about him is he was rags to riches kind of guy. Like, he's been at the bottom, like the barrel. I mean, some of his older stories are hilarious if you listen to it. So this guy had consistently for years was making over $1.5 million per month. That's 30-day periods. Okay. So this is all true. The other thing is he helped while he was in that previous company that he did this with, he helped many people become 7-figure earners. Okay. So I always equate, most people kind of labeled him as the Michael Jordan of the direct selling industry. I always tell people, if you were in investment banking, as an example, and you found out that Warren Buffett was starting his own company, it would probably make sense to at least listen to him if that was your niche. Okay, so that's kind of how I look at it. So Holton's the man. That's bar none. He's so much fun to listen to. Like, he really will stretch your vision and help you become a really great person. Okay, that's the one of the main reason I listen to him. The number 2 thing is the industry that we're using as our gateway. Okay, I want to slow down for a second. Our gateway entry service / product, and happens to be in the travel industry. Now, I thought I was a smart business person until I found out that the travel industry is an $8 trillion with a T, $trillion industry. I had no idea it was that big. You don't need too big of a slice of a multi-trillion-dollar pie. You literally need an aroma or to lick the knife, right? So it's unbelievable, and they expect that to grow to over 16 trillion over the next 5 to 10 years. they said that, I believe I saw this stat recently, that 1 out of every $10 that a person makes in the United States goes to travel in some capacity, whether it's renting a car, hotel, flight, air, things like that. Okay, cruises. So it's just mind-boggling how much money's in it. Okay, so you got that. Now the third thing I talk about is timing. Now, timing in this industry, regardless of what somebody says, is important. And the reason I say that it is important is because I believe that a lot of you probably have skill sets that if you got in when a company was brand new, just on the exact same activity, exact same skill sets, you could make 10 to 20 times the money, as opposed to if you got into an established company that was 10, 20 years old, because a lot of people have already heard about it. The other thing I will tell you is our company, our comp plan, our presentation, everything that the company's got the opportunity will be phenomenal in 5 years. It'll be phenomenal. But I've used this example and analogy before, that it's kind of, we're sitting in a similar situation. If you could get Google stock for $1 right now, it's not the same Google at $1 stock, right? As the Google is today, that you're paying hundreds of dollars for a share, or thousands, whatever it might be. Okay, the Googles are different, but the opportunity at the dollar was way better than it is today. So so that's kind of where we're at. Usually, from statistically, in network marketing, if you can get in before a company has over 100,000 reps in it, actively working on a worldwide basis, then you are in what we call ground floor. Our company, and listen to these stats real quick. This is mind-boggling. Remember, we're officially only 30 days old. In 30 days, so from the pre-launch of 6 months to our current 30 days, we have right now about 40,000 people have become active, what we call TSAs. Reps is what we would normally call them, but we call each other TSAs, Travel Savings Ambassadors. We have acquired, using the model of acquiring these customers by giving those codes out so somebody can become a customer. We have over 175, maybe even pushing 200,000 active customers now on the books. Now remember this is something neat to think about, this is just a massive customer acquisition play. Okay, because I'm getting to the money here, and I'm just kind of building to this and kind of, I'll get to it. But this is a massive customer acquisition play, because literally, if you guys all watched any of the videos that Lisa led you to, or Ty led you to, is all we do is we ask people, a simple question like, do you travel? Yes. Okay. Everybody says usually that. And it's an easy conversation, by the way. It's not like if you're asking somebody, hey, you're fat, would you like protein powder, kind of thing. It's a different story. But if you ask somebody and they say, hey, yes, I travel, would you like to travel cheaper, or would you like to save on travel? 9 times out of 10, the answer is always going to be yes. All we do is we literally give somebody a code that we get in our back office. So the reason that we join is we purchase these codes, and we give them to the customers for free. Now, if you listen to some of the overall trainings and the presentations that are usually done, you'll hear the other kind of terminology that we're Uberizing the travel industry, using an Uber philosophy with a Amazon technology. And really what that means is Amazon, or Uber, became one of the biggest, fastest growing companies in the world, based on just giving people access on their cell phones to a free app. They did it, you set up an account, and when anybody wanted to travel from point A to point B, a little cheaper, a little quicker, more efficiently, they would push that on the app, and boom, it was triggered. And most of us got on Uber through a word of mouth referral. In fact, if you think about it, Facebook was completely created from scratch by giving away something for free to the masses. But once you're an Uber, you have an Uber account, or you have a Lyft account, or if you have a Facebook account, you're it. There is nobody can get you as a customer again. So the similar thing is happening here. Is the faster we can acquire customers, the more money people can make. Now, what's nice about this is in most networking companies, or especially product-based companies, you're typically paid based on a product that you can usually get down the street at the store that has been marked up to a higher price than you would buy it normally at a store, so they can pay networking commissions. It is what it is. And I've been in plenty of pills, potions, and lotions companies and done extremely well. With this model, though, what we're doing is this free code allows somebody to go in, shop anywhere, just like any other search engine on the travel, and we get paid, or you get paid 50% of whatever the customer saves. Not what they spend, but what they save. In fact, I saw a person book a hotel that they paid $130 on, but the savings was $200, because comparatively to the other search engines. And that person that got that person as a customer made 50% of that. They made $100. Now, a lot of people ask this question, so I usually, if I remember it, which I just did, to explain this to you. Where does the money come from in savings? How is that possible? It's real simple. This isn't magic. It's just math. Okay, there's no smoke and mirrors. Picture the Marriott Hotel being on the blocks. Let's say they have a book of rooms that they say to any of these search engines, any travel engines, that they can get it for wholesale for $100. Well, what happens though is we have a thing. There's only really two big search engines on the planet that do all the booking travel. However, under those two search engines, if you happen to catch that graph in any of the presentations, they own multiple entities. Now, the purpose for owning multiple entities is basically, in the travel space, it's a shell game. Because they might, if one owns 5, like they own Travelocity, Trivago, Hotels.com, the main company owns all those companies. But they give you different pricing to make it look like you shopped, but you really got the screws put to you. It's called parity, where they monopolize it, but they don't monopolize it because they have these shell game companies, and there's two big ones that have all of the travel ones. So what happened was, there's a company called Extreme Travel who we're partnered with that is outside of those other small companies, right? Those other companies. Now, where does that money come from? So if everybody has the opportunity to buy the hotel at wholesale for $100, all those other companies, let's say, mark it up around $300, like $290 to $320, let's say. And you think you're getting a deal if you look at it, oh, it's $320 and I got it for $290. You still got the screws put to you because they really just manipulated the price. So we can come in and sell that same hotel for $200. So we bought it for $100, sold it for $200, but with the savings was $200 to $300. That's where the savings comes from. The profit actually came from the actual purchase and wholesale. It's such a brilliant model. So picture this. Now what's happening is we are acquiring, like I said, we almost have 200,000 customers on the books in a very short period of time. We're also, in addition to helping people save money on cruises, flights, hotels, rental cars, and so on, we just bought a rideshare company called Vibe Rides, which is similar to Uber. That, like, literally your customer will go from probably an annual $300 profit, because that's in the comp plan, that's in the presentation, from a $300 to probably $500 to, I think, in a year or two, one customer that you gave a free customer code to could probably be worth almost $1,000 a year to somebody. So if you had 10, 15, 20, 100 customers that were worth $500 to $1,000 a year to you, and you didn't have to do anything to market to them. Because back when I said Uber philosophy, Amazon technology, the platform that we're using also does all the selling, all of the algorithm tracking, all of the AI, artificial intelligence, that finds out the buying habits for these people. So you can see this is why it was clicking in my head from being a marketing guy, is customer acquisition is the name of the game in marketing. Whoever can acquire customer cheaper and faster always wins. We're winning because we can acquire a customer 100% of the time cheaper than all those other search engines, and they can't compete against that because their model is set up for advertising, direct selling, or not direct selling, but basically advertising. So our warm market approach is different. But then you add on too, we just also are launching a mobile phone service. It's going to be a $49.95, from what I've heard, a $49.95 monthly unlimited data package, text, data, everything. TSAs, I believe, are going to get it for $39.95. Okay, so that's what I heard. But customers will get that for $49.95, and they're on. And I'm not going to tell you exactly the companies because I did see a slide for it, but unless it's confirmed, I'm not saying it. But they're two massive platforms that you see advertised all the time, the networks that we're on. So a customer is going to be able. So picture your customer that decided they're going to Fort Lauderdale for winter, because I live in Ohio, so that's why it always jumps in my head. I go onto the iGo platform, I book a flight, and I book a hotel in Fort Lauderdale. I fly down there, but as soon as I land, the system knows that I booked a hotel in Fort Lauderdale on a specific date. I can guarantee you that system is going to notify me and say, hey, when you land, you know, we're going to have an app as well. The app will be out in a few months that you'll just be able to give the app to somebody, use the code to activate it. But the app will probably fire up, and it'll give me a notification, saw that I landed, click yes, I need a ride from the airport, and they send a Vibe ride to me. I mean, that's the big vision here of this. We're going to be able, you have the ability to acquire at no cost to a customer. There's no monthly fee. There's nothing else. I mean, we have 110% savings guarantee. They do get travel points with reward point credits for us that they can redeem for trips. They've got all kinds of crazy things, because here's what Holton's vision is if we can get 1 million to 5 million customers on the books, we have extreme leverage for every other service or thing you can think of that can be monetized. Like everything you can think of. You can think of potentially down the road, and this is all hypothetical, movie tickets or gasoline discounts, or obviously restaurant stuff. Anything that can be monetized, we'll have the app. Somebody will be able to click on it, find something in the local area, boom, save it, and you got paid for it because you saved money. Because again, it comes down to customer acquisition. So if you had Holton running it, Holton, most successful guy in the biggest industry with timing on our side, I just briefly touched on it, but let me say it. It's systems. The fourth thing I talk about are systems. We have a very simple model. Literally all we do is we go into our back office, we put in Lisa Smith into the code area, click generate code. We give her you give her a 5-digit code. She goes to igoboom.com. It says, put your code in here, activate your website, set up your account, and your work is done. That's literally as hard as it gets right there. They also, if somebody says, well, I kind of be curious about the opportunity, they have a thing called the I Decide presentation. It's literally an interactive presentation that asks questions. Most of you probably have gone through it or you've seen it. We have that. I have put plenty of systems in place for our team. Any of you on here, I would assume, would be part of my team. I enrolled Ty Starr. Ty got Lisa in. You guys would be part of it. Like I have some really high level stuff too. Like I have chat bots. Like if you've ever gone on Facebook Messenger and it looked like you were getting an automated message, I already have one set up for our team, and it's totally free, and you don't have to know anything about it. You just have to click a button and send it to somebody, and it'll walk them through and ask them questions. I've got videos done for our team. I've got a huge Facebook group going on right now. I've got 2 of them. One is for prospects. One is for the team that we do everything in. And the last thing I think is the glue that holds it all together. It's kind of a 2-part thing, but it's community and culture. Community being the people. Culture is really how we do it. Really how we do it is simply this, is we get everybody on the same page to let them watch 1 or 2 short videos, maybe listen to a recorded message. We get them on a conference call like this or a video, and then we get them in the business. We invite them into our Facebook group. We do a little training in there. We explain, we show them testimonies of all the other hundreds of people in there that are having results, having success, and making money. Most importantly, you know, that's why we're doing this thing, and it's just starting to grow. But if you look at all these 5 things, it's for getting in for $49, then picking a package, whether it's the 250, the 500, or 1,000. And the only differences in those packages are at the 250, you get 10 boomerangs, which are the codes to get customers. The 500, you get 20 of the codes. And the best value, obviously, is the $1,000 package, which you get 50 boomerangs, which are the codes. They said, if you look at the stats and the numbers, that the average customer will save annually about $600. That means per customer, it's $300. I mentioned that earlier. That means if you gave away 50 codes, that would be an additional $15,000 annually in income that would come in just off the customers that are just on the travel savings, not including the other stuff that we're about to roll out. You do have the ability, obviously, to earn more boomerangs. They do promotions and so on, so you can kind of build your customer base up. And here's something just so you know that you would be on the right team is they listed on the big board in Las Vegas, the 200, 100-foot screen or whatever it was, the top 10 customer gatherers in the world. That's people that have just gathered customers. The number 8 customer gatherer in the world is on my second generation, sponsored by one of my personals. The number 7 is one of my personals, and the number 1 is one of my personals. And then I'm the number 1 recruiter in the whole company. Okay. Now I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that the last thing I mentioned, the community and culture, we know what we're doing. We can get people plugged in on a very, very part-time basis. Like I don't like to do anything full-time. Believe it or not, I'm kind of an introvert. I like to, ride my bike a lot and stuff like that. But I understand that there's a significant timing window right now of where we're at, that if somebody gets in and works their butts off, they can set themselves up financially, literally for, depending on how aggressive they want to be, for life. I mean, I've seen it happen. I have good friends that make hundreds of thousands of dollars monthly that have been in other companies. I had the opportunity to join a travel company probably 12 to 15 years ago and turned it down. And the guy one of my good friends said yes, and he made $23 million. I mean, I know the guy, like I'm friends with him. I mean, so I know there's money in it. And that was way pre good internet, pre-Facebook, pre-Twitter, pre-Instagram, pre-Zooms, all that. Webinars didn't exist yet, I don't think, or they were just coming around. So we have the opportunity with Holton Travel, Timing, Systems, and Community and Culture to absolutely hit a home run here. And I know Lisa's doing a great job with this thing and working it. And like she said, she's had success in the past. Ty's done very good. Ty's been a master distributor before in other companies. So collectively, it's just it's just like a round swimming pool. When you get a few people to jump into a round swimming pool, the above ground pools, and everybody starts to walk in the same direction. It's hard because the water has a little friction to it, right? It's hard to kind of get that water going. But as we put more people in and we're all doing the same thing, and everybody begins to walk in the same direction, pretty soon it gets easier and easier and easier. And eventually, the more people we throw in that run, start going, what happens is it just goes so fast that a person can jump right in and they get swept up in the momentum. That's kind of, I know it's a dumb story and a dumb analogy, but you kind of get the point. It's literally the best time to make a lot of money in a network marketing business is not when it's 5 years old and established and they've already got 50 people making $100,000 a month. The best time right now is to have a higher level of risk, I guess you could say, or advert, what do you call that? Tolerance. You have to have your own personal tolerance for the risk level and being in early and being new, knowing that there's going to be a handful of growing pains and so on. But it's the most exciting time to be in. The one company I made, like I said, I made $1 million in. I got in when that company had 150, almost 200,000 people in it, and still did that. I was like on the tail end of that. If I would have been in earlier based on the exact same activity, I probably would have made 10 to 20, so that's how quick you can miss something. And right now we're literally, I believe that October is going to be life-changing for people. I know this, and I'm trust me, I am not a hype guy. It's just not my, I only speak from facts I've seen, facts I know, and more importantly, facts and data I can back up. Everything I do in marketing, I make data-driven decisions. I back everything up with statistics. I look at algorithms. I look at growth metrics on companies. I track keywords. I do all the weird, gooky, nerdy stuff because I want to be able to see where my company's going. But I believe of what we have our hands on, the reason I think October is so significant is everybody came off on the 1st of September, the national convention, and got their belief to where it needed to be. They had nearly 5,000 people showed up at our very first big corporate event, nearly 5,000. And I would be safe to say that over half of those people were from outside of the United States. Like I had to laugh. Somebody posted a picture of a group in my organization that's really growing. There was 40 or 50 people in the room, and it was in Uganda. I mean, who would have thought, right? Like they literally were in a room, packed it out with 50 people in Uganda. They had like half of them had like ibuumerang shirts on, but anyhow, back to my point. So I didn't, I don't rabbit trail here. But October, the reason I believe October is significant is because everybody that came to the convention and now has their belief level has gone to like really taking massive action. Like my organization is almost doubled in the last 30 days, which is really a big jump. But I believe that October is going to set some people up based on the activity they take in that 30 days for financial freedom down the road, because we're laying the groundwork. We're getting the people in, and the other services that are about to roll out. It's just like, every customer, to me, every code that you give out is like having an asset. It is literally an asset that you have out there. I've used another dumb story, but or an analogy. It's like having Coke machines out there. Some Coke machines are going to produce a lot of money for you. Some Coke machines are going to produce very little. But the more Coke machines you have out there, the more money you make. And that's really what it is. It's just like having a vending machine company. That's all this is somebody has the ability to go on their phone or on their computer, look something up that they were already planning on spending money on. And if they find something that makes sense to purchase on your code, your site, and they book it and save money, you get paid. There's harder ways to make money. I know for a fact than what we're doing. And we've really, I believe, set the groundwork for something significant. I think that if you understand what Lisa's, how aggressive Lisa's about to become in this thing, and Ty, and then myself, and my sponsor just became what they got promoted to one of the highest levels in the company. His sponsor is the number 2 money earner in the company, and his sponsor is the number 1. So we are right there at the top, tight with successful people that know how to do this thing. And like I said before, you have full access to all my stuff, all my trainings, chat system, chat bots, everything. So anyhow, I could keep rambling there, Lisa. I know I got a little fired up,
Thank you, Mike.
But I think I'm fired up for a legitimate reason, because
yes.
I know what it can do for people and families. Because I literally, I've seen it already. I've watched people that were just barely scraping by have already, their tune is totally changed because what they've already established, and now it's starting to grow and grow and grow, and it's just exciting to see this. So thank you for having me on here, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was an excellent presentation. And for all of you here, as